Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2015 GMC Sierra 2500. I'm going to walk through how to install the B&W above bed rail kit, frame brackets, and the Patriot 18K slider hitch. The slider hitch is going to be designed for trucks with short beds because it allows you to slide the camper, the nose of the camper back when you're making a sharp turn, whether that's backing it into a spot or making close to a 90-degree turn. It's going to keep the the nose of the camper from making contact with the cab of the truck. The slide feature on it is a simple lever. You can reach in from the side of the truck, lift it up, pull forward, it'll slide the camper back. It will automatically lock back into place. B&W is a very well-known brand. There's a lot of different sliders out there. B&W has been around for a long time. Their hitches hold up really well because of the amount of quality they put into them. The welds are very thick. The powder coating is very nice and thick. So we don't have to worry about the hitch not lasting us for a very long time. The hitch head, if you're wanting to take this whole thing out of the bed because maybe you wanted to use the bed of the truck, the head can be removed so that the base is a little bit lighter. To remove the head, you simply pull up on these levers and you lift up. You're going to have front to back articulation and side to side. This is good for uneven terrain. Maybe the trailer and the truck are moving in different directions. This keeps the trailer from pulling on the truck and allows each one to move independently. It's going to have a dual jaw design, so it's going to give you 360-degree contact around that kingpin. The above bed rails and the frame rails also have the same powder coating as the hitch so that everything matches. As I mentioned, this is going to be the 18K Patriot slider. Again, designed for your short bed trucks. It's going to be great for your fifth wheel campers, fifth wheel trailers to help give you that extra space needed to keep the nose of the camper from hitting the cab of the vehicle when you're making those sharp turns. And if you're going to be putting a fifth wheel hitch in your truck, I would also recommend looking at in-bed wiring if you don't already have it. In-bed wiring gives you a 7-pole plug in the bed of the truck, so you don't have to hang the 7-pole wiring from your camper over a trailer over the tailgate and plug it into the 7-pole on your bumper. It just makes everything a lot nicer, keeps everything inside the bed of the truck, and it keeps from damaging your tailgate as well. You can find those different options for the wiring here at eTrailer. As far as the installation process for the above bed rails and the frame brackets, it's really not too difficult. The only drilling that's going to be required are the holes going down to hold your frame or the above bed rails down to the bed that bolt to the frame brackets themselves. Other than that, there's already holes in the frame that give you all the hardware and everything to get everything installed. If this is something that you may not have the time or space to do, you can always check out our dealer locator, find someone near you that is able to put it in. If you want to give it a try, you can get it done in your garage or your driveway. Follow along with me and I'll walk you how to do it now. To start your installation, you want to lay out all your parts. These are going to be your frame brackets. You'll notice that one side is longer than the other. This is going to be our driver's side, so the longer part is going to be towards the back. Shorter part's going to be towards the front. So you're going to make sure you're putting these on the correct side. Then you're going to take these copper colored 5/8 bolts and you're going to have these brackets in there. On one side, they have these two little lips that are sticking out. We want to thread our bolt in like this. You're going to have two of these, one long one and one short one for each side of the vehicle. Take an 11/16 socket, we want to thread that all the way down in there until that bolt sits in between there. If for some reason these two little tabs fold down, you can take a little flathead screwdriver, just bend them back up. This is actually going to be going in the frame rail, and this is going to be used to hold the head side of the bolt while we thread on the nut on the other side. We're going to take the short handle with the bolt. There's an oval hole. We're going to feed this in and then come out of this hole. The longer one, we're actually going to go from the inside. There's a larger hole in the frame rail. It's going to come out this hole right here. Right above your jounce bumper, on the frame rail, there's a large hole. We're going to feed our bolt in, bracket in, and meet up with the hole so that our bolt comes out. Next, we're going to take our bracket. We want these to go in under the frame, or in between the frame and the truck bed. So we'll go up like this. We want them to go into the top holes of the bracket. We're going to slide it forward as far as we can get it. Flat washer, and you'll have some different sizes in there. You want the larger copper colored flat washer, larger lock washer, and then the nut. We're not going to tighten these down right now. We're just going to hand tighten to keep the bracket in place. As we're going to come up top, we're going to take our bed rail. We're going to do the rear one. Per the measurements in the instructions for the size bed you have, you're going to go off of this bed end, not the tailgate. Measure up, and this back edge needs to meet that measurement. Again, that's per your size bed, so make sure you're looking at the correct one. Once you get the measurement from the end of the bed, set your rail down, mark it in a couple places, and then you're going to go from the wheel well to the edge on both sides and make sure it's centered. Once you get it centered, put a mark on each end, so if you have to remove this, which we're going to have to pull it out, we're going to drill some holes, then you know exactly where it needs to go. You're going to take an 1/8 inch drill bit. We're going to go to the second hole in, front and back, center on the front towards the bulkhead, opposite side, second hole in, front and back. We're going to drill a pilot hole into each one of those. Don't necessarily need to do the center one yet, just the two outside ones, so we can determine if our bracket is lining up with that hole. We'll go right in the center. Now what we need to do is we'll go down. We'll look to make sure that that hole is lining up with the hole in the bracket that we put on the frame, and then we can adjust this bracket so that it meets the hole on the bracket on the frame. So if we look up, and we can see the one for the back hole back here. This is where we can, we have minor adjustment in this frame bracket. The holes were slotted, so we can slide this back just a little bit to try and get our holes as centered on these as possible. You've drilled the holes and you've got them where you want them. We can go ahead and remove this bracket or drill this center hole here, remove this bracket, and then we're going to open them up to fit the size of the bolts that are going to be fitting in there, going in there. I like to open them up just a little bit more. It gives you a little bit of room to play. I like to use a step bit when I do this because I can get it pretty close and just go just a little bit bigger. I want this bolt to be able to slide down in there pretty easy. Once you got your holes drilled to size, go ahead and vacuum up the shavings. And I recommend taking some clear coat, some spray paint, and cover the bare metal on those holes. That'll help reduce any risk of rust and corrosion later on. Then we can take our bracket, set it back over the holes we drilled. We're going to take a carriage bolt. We're going to put it in each one of the holes. we're going to come underneath. We're going to have a U-shaped bracket like this. This is going to slide up on top in between the frame rail and the bed. And that's to keep the corrugation from crushing when we go to tighten everything down. You'll have one for each bolt. Then on the bottom, we're going to put on a flat plate, a flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut. Like that. Passenger side, hardware is going to be exactly the same, except you're going to have this heat shield that's kind of in your way. It sits real close to the frame rail and you're not going to be able to get up in there. So take a T25 Torx bit and take this bolt out of this corner, and if you pull this down, you can push this heat shield up and you can get to the bracket and get your hardware installed. Now to get your front rail in place, you're going to need the base to your hitch. You're going to gently set it into your back rail. Line up the front rail with the feet, set it in place. That's going to give you where that front rail needs to sit. The only thing different about our front and back rail is we're going to be doing the outside 2 holes on each end in this, and the front one closest to the bulkhead of the truck. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the back one. We're just using the outside 2 holes on each end instead of the second one in. On this side, your gas tank is right below there. So make sure when you start to feel that going through, you don't poke it through real hard, because we definitely don't want to go into the tank. So on our front rail, because we had to use the outside 2 holes, we're now on the lower corrugation. So we're going to take one of these blocks, we're going to slide it under there, just like that. Again, these are going to keep the corrugation from crushing. So we'll put one of these in each corner. Once we get those in place, we can go underneath and install the remaining hardware. Once you get your holes drilled, you got your bolts passed down through your bracket, or your rail, go ahead and set your base back in place. This time you're going to pin it. We're going to do this before we go down and start tightening everything up. That way everything stays aligned with the feet on the base of the hitch. The only difference with the hardware between the back and the front is the front, we're not going to use that U-shaped plate on top of the bracket because we use it on top of the bed. Other than that, the hardware combination is the same. Don't forget your center ones. You are going to use the U-shaped plate, the flat plate, flat washer, lock washer, and nut. So now we're going to go to tightening and torquing. The outside bolts on your frame rail, you just want to tighten those down just enough so that the frame bracket is sitting flat on the frame. We don't want to tighten them all the way down yet. Then we're going to come underneath and we're going to tighten and then torque all of our bolts to pull our rails down flat on our bed to make sure they're secure and to make sure that the frame rails are pulled up against the bottom of the bed. Because of where these sit, the hardware sits right on top of the frame rail, you may just need to set up like this, a little short socket on your torque wrench. Once you got all of your hardware tightened and torqued underneath, then you need to come out and tighten and torque your hardware for your frame plates. So then we're going to come up top, we're going to finish putting our hitch together. You're going to get 2 risers that look like this, an A and a B, and if you notice the angles of them, you can set these up 2 ways. If you put it like this, put A on the passenger side, that means the head is going to sit closer to the cab. If you switch it, that means the head's going to sit farther away from the cab. Because it's a short bed, I'm going to put it farther away from the cab. And we're going to put this in the middle position. You'll notice there are several holes inside of this base here. It gives you 3 different positions to put it in: a low position, middle, and high. Typically we put them in the middle position. The reason we do that is a lot of individuals have tonneau covers, and if we put it in the middle position with the head on, you can still close your tonneau cover right over top of the hitch head. So that's where we found that it's best to install these. We're going to slide it down. That will be the low setting. That will be the mid setting. That would be the high setting. We're going to go to the mid. Hex bolt with a lock washer. Thread one into each one of the 4 holes on each upright. Once we get them in, we'll come back, we'll tighten them down with the 3/4 inch socket, and then torque them to the specifications and the instructions. So we're going to install this little bracket here. It's going to go on the inside of this arm, closest edge to the cab. You want this little tab right here to be towards the inside. What we're going to do is we're going to hammer it right onto that edge. Like that. You're going to spring like this. One of these, one side is going to have a little I call it a little arm that's sticking out. That needs to be bolted where the hole of that inlet sticks out. It's going to come with the nut and the bolt. And what that does, that's the spring for the head. We'll take the hitch head, we'll pull up on these levers, and pop it down over the top, and we'll let the levers go. That's what's going to secure it in place. Make sure the handle's facing back like that. We're going to slide it in. Take the hardware for it. We'll thread it into place, and then we can come back and tighten it down. You're going to need an Allen wrench and a 9/16 wrench or socket. Once you've got your handle on, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at an installation of the B&W 18K Patriot 5th wheel slider on a 2015 GMC Sierra 2500.